there is like someone like me could basically be erased by not even having access to that. And it's this crazy political sphere because now you've got people that are like debating my life for sport and making money and grifting off it, like Amala, like the Blair Whites, like the Buck, like Ben Shapiro, like Matt Walsh, like all these people that are causing all this intersectional harm that really experience no consequences. They just make money off
I
it.
hope all of their children are gay. I hope all of their children are
and they don't
gay.
and they just don't have the intellectual capacity to even have a conversation about it. Like,
or the economy. Like that's the other thing too, is like, what did they spend? How much money? What was it, like almost $2 billion in advertisement through the Trump thing against just trans people?
Yeah.
When you could have like, so when does the economy matter? And it's like this constant dehumanization that we feel, and it's like we're being used for this, that, and the other to constantly fight each other, and it all comes back down to that corporate greed.
It's also so sad because like trans people are such a small minority.
1%
that have been like created into such a massive issue just because they know that it is upsetting. And it's a hot button and xenophobic issue. And it's like taking your identity and the life that you have to live on a daily basis and using it as a form of entertainment and as a way to get like extremist rhetoric pushed more.
Yeah.
That's because literally they have no policy for homelessness. They have no policy for the economy. They have no policy to make groceries cheaper. They have no policy to help anyone out.
Hey, that's not true. They have concepts of a plan.
And they just learned about what tariffs are. So
it's like
they're not president right now.
They have nothing to help people out. So what they do is they take a small piece of a community to say, let's put this community face forward for the next couple years until we can get out and just do all this stuff behind the scenes. And by the time they figure out that we're done, it's already too late.
It's true. They're arguing over 1% of the population while so many people in the population are suffering due to like
economic
issues
impacts.
that should be so bipartisan because they know that if they had to fight on those issues, they would lose.
Exactly.
So they go for
this is the distraction
stuff. It's used as a distraction. Your identity has become a red herring. And that's such bullshit. That's just bullshit.
Yeah.
And then I was actually breaking down something for someone. I was arguing with someone in some comments, and I was like, okay. So
I've tried so hard not to do
I had to because it was just so stupid. I was like, okay, let's break this down. So if you deport 30% of your workforce, that means your farm hands, your builders, plus you add on tariffs to products that you take home, like electronics, food, anything imported, like anything metals, precious metals that go into your materials, because it would take years for us to produce that stuff here. So by the time the Trump administration ends, you wouldn't even have that stuff still. If we take all that and then couple that with the fact that now women are dying in Texas because they have such strict abortion acts. And then
OBGYNs are leaving Texas. It's like a max exodus.
Wow. And then the fact that you guys don't want to fund the schools anymore. You take all that, so you want to cripple the education system, make people's children
stupid.
Exactly.
It's their voting base that they're trying to create. Because what is the statistics? If you took out the non-college educated whites, the election would have looked completely different.
Exactly. So they're making.
So
they're trying to make people dumb. They don't want to teach them about critical race theory. They don't want to teach them about BK.
Because critical race theory would make people more smart.
They don't want to tell them the truth.
So imagine.
Well, because grandma was actually throwing the rocks back in the day, and they don't want to get caught with the photo. Like, let's be real. Like, the generation, it's only been like 60 years since all of this has happened. So there are people that are alive today.
The KKK burned a cross on my grandmother's lawn when she was 11 years old. Yeah. And she's like very alive. Arthritic, but alive.
I was born in a town that was only 15 minutes away from the area where they found Emmett Till's body in Mississippi. So, like, we're only 1 or 2 generations removed from all of that, to be quite honest.
But that's why they put the photos in black and white. That's why they don't want to teach it in school. It happened a very long time ago. None of that stuff is still here.
But I tell people, imagine if Germany hadn't learned from their past. You cannot get to your future without tackling your past. Yes, in the past, America was very racist. Right now, you have people who are very racist because they haven't learned anything from it. You're not teaching them to learn from it. You're trying to cover it up and say it never happened. But I'm sorry, the survivors are here.
Yes.
They know better. And then on the top of when I was arguing in the comments too, I was like, you take all that, 30% of your workforce plus tariffs, you're not going to be able to afford a lot of things. Your housing is going to be in the gutter. And then all the stuff you thought you voted for, like you said, Trump's going to end the war. What war is this man going to end? I'm sorry, that's generational of Palestine and Israel for a long generations.
Which has already been
And
accelerated
they just,
now.
they're
It sounds-
in ceasefire negotiations. Right?
Yeah.
It sounds like erasure. The more I'm hearing, it sounds like pure erasure. Because like if you take something out or someone out of something, you don't have to include them in, right? So because I'm thinking as a gay, Black cisgendered male, I'm listening to all, and I'm like, okay, because I have the same dog in the fight because but I have a different fight because I'm like, I look at things a little bit differently. But I'm like, it sounds like erasure. I'm like, that's what it is.
Mhm.
If you say, oh, you're not a person and you're not this, then it's carte blanche to say that then there are others. They're over here. They're not part of us. I mean, I think the biggest thing for Trump supporters specifically, they will reap what they sow. We all know that. I think the problem is they think that they are rich and white and untouchable.
Well, because they want to be.
Correct.
It's
So
also
they
what
vote
been marketed
with
to them
that.
as well,
Correct.
too.
Yes,
Yeah.
you have an opportunity to join us as the rich white untouchables. All you have to do is be our pawns.
But
But they don't give a fuck about you.
It's so scary
Yeah.
because there are Latinos that voted for Trump.
Without
and
realizing that their
that's-
own families are going to be deported potentially.
Because they told them that it was criminals only, and now they're finding out what natural born citizen, like they're understanding it as it's happening in real time. The same thing with tariffs. They had no clue what tariffs
But you
were.
know what? Honestly, I feel like, okay, the tariff thing is one thing. I
Yeah.
understand, like, not understanding international trade laws. But I don't think that Trump has been very secretive about how he feels about immigrants.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all you really have to do is like open Twitter or open Instagram to get a basic idea of his rhetoric on immigrants. And if you still couldn't figure that out, like that's
Sad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no
Sad.
more X. No more X.
Yeah.
Sad.
I think it was just about
Blue sky, right?
economy.
Oh,
If I'm not
yes.
mistaken, I felt like a
Oh,
lot of
God.
it
I
had
refuse
to
to
do
call it
with.
that.
I think it had a lot to do with the economy because people coming over to this country and trying to make a better life for themselves. And for me, Latinos for Trump sounds like an oxymoron for me. But then I also, that's one group of people. I'm pissed at white women. I'm also pissed at trans people who talked so much stuff about Palestine as they should have, but then talked about withdrawing or withholding their vote for Kamala and criticizing her for things that I don't think she 100% could control, because the reality of it is we're on a two-party system and all we have is Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Now, I have said on this podcast before in one of our previous episodes, you can have your criticism of Kamala. I don't care,
You
but
should.
go show up and vote. Please go vote. Because at least with Kamala and the whole situation around Palestine, that could be worked on. But if you were somebody that criticized her and then you did not go to the polls and vote, and then you told your fan base to not go vote, I want to sincerely give you a big F you. Do you think Donald Trump is going to help the Palestinian people? Laughable. That is a joke.